Hello you most beautiful and most amazing top 10ers, I hope you are feeling both glorious and trustworthy today, as we are talking about the top 10 game show cheats. The temptation to cheat on a game show can be pretty strong. After all, you could snag some serious cash. However, some people forget that their actions are on national and sometimes international television, meaning it makes it pretty easy to catch them out. So listen on as we talk the top 10 people or corporations who have cheated the system. That is, until some of them landed in very hot water. In at number 10, we have Nasty Nick from Big Brother. In the golden year of 2000, a former City trader by the name of Nick Bateman was involved in a much publicised game show scandal. In the inaugural Big Brother in the UK, Nick caused controversy by passing notes to other contestants. Now this was in an attempt to influence the show's eviction voting process. For those of you who don't know the premise of Big Brother, contestants live in a house with a number of other people, which is monitored by 24-hour video cameras. Each week, contestants must vote to evict a housemate, with the two most voted for standing for public eviction. So Nick passed notes with the names of people that he was going to nominate in order to try and influence others in the house. Eventual winner Craig Phillips confronted him, and Nick was then booted out of the Big Brother house, earning him the nickname Nasty Nick. Following his suspension from the game, Nick said, "If you live by the sword, you die by the sword." Truth. In at number 9, we have Neil Tejwani from The Biggest Loser. In 2007, contestant Neil Tejwani went on popular reality TV show The Biggest Loser. Now the aim of the game is to lose the most weight. Neil, who FYI ended up winning the show, used some shady tactics to throw the game, resulting in the elimination of another contestant instead of himself. In an episode aired by NBC, Neil drank gallons and gallons of water before a weigh-in to put on 17 pounds. Now this was because at the end of the week, he wanted to make it look like he'd had the most dramatic weight loss. Neil said people forget that sometimes there is a game aspect to the show and everyone is guilty of playing it to some degree. Despite his dubious methods, Neil did go on to win that season of the show. In at number 8, we have Khalid Al Khater. Now this was on Australia's Millionaire Hot Seat. So a lot like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Millionaire Hot Seat asks contestants questions, allowing them to win prize money. So cheat was called on 19-year-old law student Khalid, who won $100,000 by reportedly reading the body language of the host and the audience members. Now he did this as multiple choice answers were read out. In the end, Khalid got to keep his money because what he did technically wasn't against the rules. One cheater who brazenly broke the game rules was a Spanish model. In at number 7, we have FHM Model Cheater with an iPhone on Spanish TV show Pasapalabra. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. In a 2014 episode of game show Pasapalabra, contestants had to identify a song. Unfortunately, Spanish model Adriana Abina decided to cheat by downloading the app Shazam. Now if you don't know Shazam, basically it listens to part of a song for you and tells you what it is. Unfortunately, her phone's screen was seen lighting up in her attempt to cheat, meaning her shady actions were immediately spotted. The show's host, Christian Galvez, saw the light and immediately asked what was going on, to which Adriana giggled and confessed. Galvez said, "To be honest, I think she deserves a special prize anyway, because in 7 years of organising this TV contest, nobody has ever done anything like this, and certainly not quite so brazenly. I guess that being pretty and being a major babe helps when you're doing something bad." So one cheat whose actions that were definitely not laughed off was Rick Rockwell, the millionaire from American TV show Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire. This brings us into our number 6. So in the year 2000, Fox came out with a show called Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire, which, FYI, despite the outrage it caused, many people did. 50 women, one from each state of America, competed to win the hand of an unseen millionaire, all the while broadcast on live TV. Winner Dava Conga seemed to be over the moon when she won the show, marrying supposed millionaire Rick Rockwell. Unfortunately, after their honeymoon in Barbados, it was leaked that Rockwell actually lived in a normal home with a discarded toilet in the backyard, and was very much far from the insanely wealthy man that Fox had presented him to be. Some even shadier Fox action up next, leading us to think that maybe they are the game show cheaters rather than the contestants. We have the controversial $1 million money drop in 2010. So back in 2010, Gabe Okoye and Brittany Matey were cheated out of $800,000. The popular Fox show asks questions, allowing contestants to keep money for correct answers. Unfortunately, one of the questions the pair was asked was, which product was on sale first? Post-it notes, a Sony Walkman, or a Macintosh computer? Now the couple answered post-it notes and lost out on their money, even though it was actually the right answer. The couple were not offered a payout by Fox, instead they were offered a chance to appear on the show once again. However, before they were able to, it was cancelled. Boo. Up next, less of a fraud in the actual game, but more of a fraud in the game of life, we have Patrick Quinn / Kerry Ketchum. In 1988, Patrick Quinn was the largest one-game winner in the history of NBC's game show Super Password. Patrick appeared in 4 episodes, winning a total of $58,000. Whilst one would assume from his ability to win that he was a really smart guy, it turns out that Patrick wasn't very smart after all. Patrick was actually a wanted criminal by the name of Kerry Ketchum, a guy on the run for defrauding an auto dealer. So do you know what is probably the #1 rule when you're on the run? Yeah, I guess maybe don't appear on national TV where millions of people can see your face and point you out to the feds. Good one, Kerry. In at number 3, we have Michael Larsen on the Press Your Luck scandal. Now, did he cheat? That has been the question on many Americans' lips since Michael Larsen walked away with $110,237. This was after he won Press Your Luck in 1984. At the time, Michael was the biggest winner of a game show prize money in the United States, but his methods for winning turned out to be highly contentious. So it turns out that Michael recorded most episodes of the TV show and even begun studying patterns in the game's so-called randomizer. He then studied his VCR recordings for patterns, learning that he could even predict where the randomizer would land. With this knowledge, he auditioned for the show, gaining a spot. Of course, he managed to accurately predict the randomizer, leading to a crazy victory. CBS initially suspected him of cheating after they noted that he would celebrate his wins very early rather than taking a split second for them to sink in. After they realised what had happened, they were unable to find a clause in their rule set that would deny him his money. In at number 2, we have Herb Stempel from the 21 scandal. This is a scandal that shook 1950s America. In what can be considered the golden era of American game shows, Herb Stempel appeared on the popular game show 21. 21 was a quiz show where 2 contestants competed against one another to win physical and cash prizes. It turns out that Herb was actually approached and asked to cheat by the show's producer, Dan Enright. Now Dan offered him $25,000 to cheat in the game. Dan wanted to rig the show to increase ratings and subsequently made Herb look like an underdog who got lucky. As the narrative went on, Herb became somewhat of an American celebrity, with millions tuning in to watch his story each episode. Herb won over $69,000 until he was defeated by a similarly scripted opponent. The scandal shocked many, prodding a change in federal law that regulated game shows. A 1994 movie called Quiz Show was even based on the drama. So we are here at the #1 spot, and it is probably the biggest game show scandal and by far the biggest cash value won by a cheater. In at number 1, we have Chris Ingram from the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire scandal. Following a 2001 episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, £1 million prize winner Ingram was accused of fraud. After suspicions were raised, it turns out that his wife Diana and accomplice Tejwani would cough at the right answer as it was said aloud. Now Ingram would hear the cough and then would choose his answer. Allegedly. The case was taken to court with Chris, his wife, and Whittock charged with fraud and given prison sentences suspended for 2 years. All the while they maintained their innocence, however episodes of the show were aired to the jury who were able to decipher the coughing. So that was the top 10 biggest game show cheaters. Do you guys know of any that I left off my list? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'm Rebecca Felgate, this has been Most Amazing Top 10. Make sure you guys are subscribed for more top 10 lists, and if you like this video, give it a good old thumbs up and share it with someone who will find it really interesting. I will see you honeys next time, but in the meanwhile, no cheating, you will be caught.